Did you hear about the guy who fell into the upholstery machine? He's fully recovered. Many Christians do not rely on each of the following pieces of rhetoric. I recognize that. Those who do, I am directing this body of questions to you. Those who do not may want to pay attention anyway, in the event that you find yourselves dealing with such people one day. In life, we have a choice. If we choose correctly and give ourselves and our lives over to God, we lead moral lives and go to heaven. Otherwise, we go to hell. Being human means having free will. Having free will means being capable of depraved immoral behavior, and God cannot prevent this capability without infringing on free will. Of course, being loving, He elects not to do that. The only way anyone is capable of morality is by the threat of eternal torture. It therefore follows that if one's beliefs exclude that threat, debauchery, depravity, and killing for sport are the natural result, and a society loses all cohesion and completely falls apart. So what about people who have already died and face judgment? A denizen of heaven who lacks that threat is of course in no danger of going to hell under any circumstances, and so has no reason not to covet his neighbor's wife, or his neighbor's ass, or for that matter his neighbor. This denizen, according to your rhetoric, has no reason to pay any heed to any verse of the Bible or to God Himself unless out of personal interest. That is, unless the danger of being sent to hell is still present, in which case all the necessary testing and judgment of one's actions takes place in heaven just as readily as it takes place on earth, which raises the question of why God created earth. What if someone in heaven were to blaspheme against the Holy Spirit? According to Mark 3:29, he or she would be beyond forgiveness. Well, what is the value of forgiveness if one is already in heaven? Is there a great transcendent detention to which God can send you? If it is true that the reason to behave morally is to avoid the eternal torture of hell and reap the eternal reward of heaven, then what reason do people already in heaven have to behave morally? Some of you no doubt are going to tell me that in heaven we are ridden of our baser urges and freed from our darker drives and characteristics. Well, then why can't God do that here? Now many of you no doubt are going to tell me that such infringes on free will. Well, then why doesn't that infringe on free will in heaven? Are you really going to suggest that we have more free will here than there? Of course not, you will tell me. Well, that means that God is indeed able to rid us of these drives and urges without infringing on our free will.